Those statues look weird.
Perhaps. But those chests look mighty real to me.
But are we entitled to it?
What do you mean?
So far, we haven't met a living soul in this labyrinth. And your point? That would be stealing from the owner. Nah, spoils of war. But we want his help, remember? Stealing makes a bad impression, usually.
Can we just take a peek
Usually.
first? We don't have to take anything. Just a look, right?
Makes sense that Rada would be like, just take a look at least. She's the thief, right? I'm wondering I can't remember what we did for Mouse's characteristics. Where is it? What did we pick? Kindness, altruism, authority, and casual is what character speaks like most folk do, neither overly formal nor overly colloquial. Altruistic, tendency to always help those in need. Kindness, a tendency to care about others, preferring to make friends rather than enemies. And authority, a tendency to enforce rules and beliefs with authority and leadership in mind. Personality score of 10, 13 towards kindness, 10 of altruism, and 8 of casual. With the acolyte background, religious training, potion making, additional language. It's got the cleric lifestyle going on. Ooh, all attacks have plus 1d8 radiant damage now. Sweet, that makes his Mace of Smashing 2d6 plus d8. Plus the strength bonus. Mouse, your mace, your one-handed mace is on par with my greatsword. Nice. That's awesome. I didn't realize it was like Mouse is getting super powerful. Marsh halflings have lived in the tradition of their ancestors who used to move, fight, and even sleep in swamp terrain. They are particularly sturdy compared to the island cousins, while being generally less likable and certainly no less courageous. I don't know why. Like, Mouse always seems to be about taking the treasure, which seems odd. It seems out of character for the altruistic, kind cleric. Acolyte too, like live the life of person in like devotion in the temple, right? Makes sense for Reyna. She's formal, egotistical, lawful, and casual. She's got a formal score of 30. Character uses complete sentences with technical or academic vocabulary, but she can also add a casual score of 8. Speak like most normal folk. A tendency to put oneself, friend, and family first at the expense of others, but also tendency towards lawlessness. I don't know if this game actually has multi-classing. Like it's based on D&D. I just don't know if it has the full rule book. Oh, which reminds me, I wanted to check on something. Give me 1 second. I'm just grabbing a book from right here. There we go. Get all cozy again. Okay. It'd be in the player's handbook. We don't need the DMG. Where is my monster manual? Oh, there it is. Okay. I thought I had misplaced my monster manual. I just want to double check the rules about critical hits. Wow, look at this. The book is so barely open, it just naturally wants to go back to be like it. Pages hold itself perfectly shut. All right. Not character creation. Contents, here we go. Where is combat? I want to double check on the critical hit. I have a feeling that we should be doing more damage than we're doing. And I just want to verify. Okay. Oh, here we go. Chapter 9, page 189. Damage and healing is on 196. So 189, 196. Ability checks. Yeah, look. Without realizing it, the DMG has a picture of Reyna in the... See? Halfling redhead picking somebody's pocket. It's almost like my character of Reyna's in this book. Variant Encumbrance. The rules for lifting and carrying are intentionally simple. Here is a variant if you are looking for more detailed rules for determining how a character is hindered by weight. When you use this variant, ignore the strength column of the armor table in Chapter 5. If you carry weight in excess of 5 times your strength score, you are encumbered, which means your speed drops by 10 feet. If you're carrying 10 times, you are heavily encumbered, means your speed drops by 20 feet. And you have disadvantage on ability checks, attack rolls, saving throws that use strength, dex, or con. My only thing with that variant is if you're a halfling, if you're a creature that doesn't have 30 movement, don't halflings normally only have like 20 feet movement instead of the 30? Anyways, not looking for that. Vision and light, right? Yeah. Dark vision. D&D world, dark vision. Does it say? I believe dark vision says, yeah, you act as though you're in dim light. Dim light, also called shadows, creates a lightly obscured area. An area of dim light is usually a boundary between the source of a bright light and the such as the torch and the surrounding darkness. The soft light of twilight and dawn also count as dim light. Particularly brilliant full moon might bathe the land in dim light. It doesn't say what it does there. Weird. It used to say dim light was like disadvantage for attacks, but maybe that's only in 3.5. Because this doesn't say anything. It just says what like the lighting is. It doesn't say the effect of dim light. After dim light goes darkness, creates a heavily obscured area. Characters face darkness outside at night, even most moonlight nights, within the confines of an unlit dungeon, or a subterranean vault, or in an area of magical darkness. But again, doesn't say negatives from it. Maybe the negatives of being in the light would be listed somewhere else. Alright. 189. Here we go. Combat. Where is critical? 196 was damage, right? Okay, attack rolls. Rolling a 1 or a 20. Sometimes fate blesses or curses a combatant, causing the novice to hit and the veteran to miss. On a d20 roll, if the d20 rolls a natural 20, the attack hits regardless of any modifiers or AC. This is called a critical hit, which is explained later in the chapter. If a target rolls a 1, the attack misses no matter what. Alright. Damage and healing. Here we go. Damage. Critical hits. When you score a critical hit, you get to roll an extra dice for the attack damage against the target. Roll all the attack damage dice twice and then add them together. Then add any relevant modifiers as normal. To speed up play, you can roll the damage dice at once. Okay. So it actually doesn't... Your strength multiplier doesn't add in. What I have here in my hand is one of the best things you can ever have. A book. This particular book is the Player's Handbook for 5e. And the one right there is the 3.5e version of it. Alright. Actually, now that makes me wonder. Have I just been misplaying 3rd edition this whole time? Maybe critical hits were never supposed to have strength modifiers applied to it as well. Everybody I know has always applied, like if you did a crit, they always counted the strength as well. There's the 5e monster manual. I love that it's got a beholder on the cover. Look how awesome beholders look. Beholders are such a cool monster. Alright. There's the 3.5e DMG. And of course, my leather-bound player's handbook for 3.5. Oh, I love this book. Read a book before bed and he was shocked, but he's also a youngster. I'm proofreading a story for somebody. I'm working on a short story. I'm working on a story for a Traveler campaign and a D&D campaign. And I just finished reading the latest book, well, the second latest in the Dresden Files. I read all the time. There was a while there where 2 years ago, when I had more books available in the series and that, just before lockdown, like the years leading up to the COVID lockdown, I was reading about a book a week, maybe 2. Alright, so... Alright, where's damage on critical combat? I'll give them this. Well, I prefer the feel of the leather-bound DMG or Player's Handbook. The table of contents and the size of the text in the 5e books, much easier to read. Okay, so combat will be where? Here's all the spells. Combat, page 133. Combat modifiers on 150. Okay, 133 to 150. I'm so curious if I've been misplaying critical hits this whole time. All right. Oh, check out this! I love the artwork in this book. Look how cool that armor drawing of a character is. It's almost like it makes me think of like the Da Vinci sketches, right? Those old timey like people and where they would show like the anatomy of a hand and all with all the muscle work underneath in that. Okay, attacks of opportunity, action, standard attacks, ranged attacks. Drawing, injury, dude. Where is critical hits? Explains flanking, special attacks charge, ain't thing. Overrun, no, not Sunder. Special initiative stuff, 2 weapon fighting, that's not what I'm looking for. What page is this stupid critical hit damage covered? Combat modifiers. That's like cover modifiers. Another great bit of artwork. Check that one out. It's the size of different monsters. Actually, wait. From tiny, right there, and then halflings and normal, and then it just keeps going up. I like how they use a cat for tiny, then a halfling. Those halflings look so small there. All right. I don't know. Shouldn't they have an AC bonus for being small? Okay, this is moving. Okay, actions. This is the different type of actions. I just want to find... Oh, here we go. Critical hit. It's a tiny little spot on the bottom of the page here. Here we go. When you make an attack roll and get a natural 20, the d20 shows 20. You hit regardless of your attacker's armor, and you have scored a threat. The hit might be a critical hit or crit. To find out if a critical hit, you immediately make a critical roll. Another attack roll with all the same modifiers as the attack roll you just made. If the critical roll also results in a hit, the target's AC, your original hit is a critical hit? The critical roll just needs to hit to give you a crit. It doesn't need to come up 20 again. If you critical roll a miss, then your hit is just a regular hit. A critical hit means that you roll your damage more than once, with all your usual bonuses, and add the rolls together. Unless otherwise specified, the threat range for a critical hit on the attack is a 20, and the multiplier is ×2. Exception. Extra damage over and above a weapon's normal damage, such as that dealt by a sneak attack or the special ability of a flaming sword, is not multiplied when you score a critical hit. I've been doing critical hits wrong. Fuck me. So in 3.5, Sneak attack damage doesn't get criticaled. It's just your usual sneak attack. But it seems like it does say like you do damage twice. Where is it? You roll your damage more than once with all usual bonuses and add the rolls together. So this one, in 3.5, it did count your strength. You're reading the Wheel of Time. Oh, it's so good. 14 books, but worth it. I've been thinking of rereading Wheel of Time. Pathfinder is based on D&D 3.5. It's literally D&D 3.5 tweaked. They try to improve some of the things and whatnot, but it's basically 3.5e. I don't have books for Pathfinder. I have PDFs. I have the PDFs. Let me see. Where is it? Pathfinder. There's the folder on my desktop. There's all 5 bestiaries for Pathfinder. Where is the core rule book? There we go. Oh, that's bright. I like the artwork. I love the artwork, actually. Look at that. He looks awesome. The monster looks awesome. She looks badass and sexy all at the same time, following the old rules of the more skin you see, the more your armor class is, the better the armor. All right, so creating. Does this not have combat? Oh, here's combat. How combat works. Special attacks. Combat statistics. It'll be around here, I bet. See, it's even like the artwork is even very reminiscent. Page view, 2 pages. There we go. That's better. Personally, they need to make a PDF reader that makes it like the books on the iPad book app, where you actually turn pages. So it's actually, you only ever see the 2 pages like a book, and then you can turn them. That's so great. All right, so this is actions in combat. As you can see, they based the style of the book on the D&D 3.5e book. All right. There's one instance of crit. No, 15 instances of crit. There we go. You automatically hit. Okay. Helpless defenders. Okay, what if we went up from here? Okay, why does it keep adding more numbers? Oh my goodness. This PDF reader sucks. Okay, take that off. That was really slowing things down. Maybe I should open it in a different viewer. That was the Internet Explorer for some reason. I keep trying to tell it to associate with Google Chrome, and it keeps using Microsoft Edge. And Edge is supposed to be fast, but I've never felt like Edge is faster. Like, look how much faster that opened this up here. How do you make Google show the Google one show it with 2 page? Oh, there, 2-page view. Ah. All right. We can then go combat. Combat works. Ooh, that 1 page is not liking. Maybe it's just the way this PDF is set up. Because even Google is like, Google Chrome's not liking this either. All right, actions and combat. So critical hits should be around here somewhere. There's injury and death. Look how great that picture looks. That's kind of how I picture my Lightbringer in the game we're playing, except for two-handed. Standard actions. Natural attack. Ranged attack. Why is it so hard to find critical hit? Issue surprise. There's attack bonuses, armor class, maybe in damage? I've kind of taken it for granted that Pathfinder is just basically 3.5, which I know fairly well. So I don't know the specific differences in combat. Different attack type. Attacks of opportunity. I'm not seeing anything about crit as its own area. You know what? Let's go back down to maybe annotations off. Maybe that'll run faster then. No, it doesn't seem to. It could be the fact that it's 578 pages. Saving throws. Attacks of opportunity, threatening squares, hit points. Here's damage. Combat statistics, attack roll, attack bonuses. This, if it's going to be anywhere, it should be here. Sometimes you multiply damage by some factors, such as a critical hit roll. Roll the damage with all modifiers, multiply multiple times, and total the result. So that's the only spot we've seen it. And it seems to say roll all the dice and the multipliers and tell them together. So yeah, 5e, they dropped having the multipliers applied to it for some reason. I wonder how many people are actually doing it right. Because everybody I've always talked to has always talked as though 5e still does it crit basically like 3.5. But apparently when you crit in 5e, you don't get your strength modifier applied to it. It's just the dice rolled twice, and only the dice rolled twice. And Pathfinder and 3.5 specify specifically with all modifiers. When you multiply damage more than once, each multiple works off the original unmultiplied damage. So if you are asked to double the damage twice, the end result is 3 times the normal damage. Example, extra damage dice over and above a weapon's normal damage are never multiplied. They both did that in 3.5. So that's basically, it uses 3.5 crit. Okay. Wow, I never noticed this. I'm having such a bad time reading. Maybe I need to get a standalone PDF reader. I think it's because it's trying to do like all the pages where you can slide through it. And they need to treat it like how Apple does, where you basically it's only the pages being shown being done, and then you flip the pages. Huh. Well, I gotta say, I'm a little surprised. No, why did I close that? I don't need that. Or minimize. I need it closed. Don't need the Pathfinder books open. But yeah, I got lots of Pathfinder stuff. I wonder how Traveler does crits. Now that we're talking about this. All right, let me put the books away. And that goes right there. I gotta say, I'm so surprised. One, I've been doing crits wrong for so long and without realizing it. I think the reason is rolling again, like if you roll a natural 20, rolling another dice to see if it actually was a crit. Why? Right? Like, that's basically giving your crit disadvantage. If you roll a 20, assume it's a crit and go. Seems like the right way to do it in my book. But apparently it's wrong. Apparently you're supposed to roll again on 3.5. Mind you, it still hits, right? It's just, you gotta roll, it's like, oh, I rolled a 20, attack again. Does the second roll still hit their armor class? It does. Okay, now it's a crit. I don't like that it's rolled the dice twice. It should be, assume you've had a full roll, like you rolled a perfect dice, whatever your max damage would be without critting, and then add a single attack on top. Because that way your crits are always better. I don't like the idea that a crit could be worse than a normal hit. I'm a little worried about this place.